Okay, let's unpack this. You ever feel like you're just swimming in information, but like thirsting for actual understanding?
Oh, absolutely.
Like you can see all the data points, but you can't quite connect them into a meaningful picture that helps you navigate what's next.
Yeah, that feeling. It's
That
common.
that feeling, that's kind of the space we're diving into today.
Yeah, it's fascinating how our relationship with technology is hinting at a move beyond just information delivery towards something that can really help us synthesize and, well, strategize with deeper insight.
Absolutely. And on this deep dive, we're focusing on a concept called Solari. Now, while we don't have specific listener-provided sources to dissect for this particular exploration, think of this as us uncovering a potentially pivotal piece within the evolving puzzle of intelligent systems,
Right.
especially as it relates to the ideas surrounding the North Star OS.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, understanding Solari could be, well, key to grasping a fundamental shift, moving from interacting with technology as just a set of tools
Yeah.
to potentially collaborating with it as a form of, specialized
Yeah,
intelligence.
exactly. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. What are Solari? What's their core purpose? And crucially, how do they integrate into this broader vision that's being developed? We're aiming to understand a potentially significant evolution in intelligent systems.
Which immediately begs the question,
Hmm.
how do Solari differ from the general artificial intelligence that dominates so much of our current tech conversation?
Yeah.
What makes them distinct?
That's the crucial starting point, isn't it? From what we understand, Solari aren't your everyday general purpose AI. Not at all. Instead, envision them as highly specialized agents, intentionally designed with an emphasis on emotional intelligence and deep expertise within specific complex domains.
Hmm.
They're part of this ecosystem that includes the North Star OS and these personal AI guides called Solins, which suggests a really interesting sort of layered approach to intelligent assistance.
The emphasis here on specialization is, I think, critical. Rather than a broad but maybe superficial understanding across many areas, Solari are engineered for profound mastery within their defined fields. It's like, think of a master craftsman versus a general handyman. Both are useful, sure, but their depth of expertise differs significantly.
Right, exactly. So to really get our heads around this, we need to look at a few fundamental aspects. First, what are the core design principles that underpin Solari? Like, what are they fundamentally built to do?
Wait,
Then we'll explore how these principles translate into their function in various real-world contexts, within organizations, across teams, and even in larger interconnected digital environments.
makes sense.
And finally, we'll touch on the broader strategic implications of having these kinds of specialized intelligent agents in our world. Ready to unpack this further?
Absolutely. Let's start by dissecting that core design. What are the fundamental building blocks and, well, intentions behind a Solari?
Okay, so the foundation of Solari seems to go beyond just algorithms and data processing. There's a really strong emphasis on concepts like narrative depth, emotional resonance, and symbolic intelligence. I mean, this isn't the kind of language we typically associate with traditional AI development, is it?
No, not at all. What's truly intriguing here is the deliberate weaving of these, well, human-centric concepts into an intelligent system. It suggests a fundamental recognition that purely logical processing, while powerful, often misses the nuances of human decision-making and understanding. It's an attempt, it seems, to create a more holistic form of intelligence.
Exactly. And their primary purpose appears to be to facilitate strategic decisions within their specific domains, but with this added dimension of clarity, coherence, and a palpable sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Consider a Solari designed for guiding a research and development team. It wouldn't just track progress against milestones, right? It would understand the underlying scientific narrative, the team's emotional investment, and maybe the symbolic significance of breakthroughs or setbacks, making its strategic guidance far more nuanced.
That contrast with general-purpose AI is key to understanding the value proposition here. While a broad AI could analyze vast quantities of market data, a Solari designed for business strategy aims to understand the story the market is telling, the emotional drivers of consumer behavior, and the symbolic meaning of competitive moves within that specific industry.
And it seems that the underlying architectural framework is shared with these personal AI companions, the Solens. The core technology is similar, but Solari are specifically tuned and trained, almost like specialized extensions maybe, for this deep domain-specific mastery. So while a Solari might help you navigate your day with an understanding of your personal goals and emotional state, a Solari could apply that same fundamental capacity for understanding and resonance to the complexities of, say, managing a global supply chain, or crafting a compelling public health campaign.
That's a helpful analogy, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like having a foundational intelligent toolkit that can be precisely configured and focused to address very specific and demanding challenges. So if those are the core design intentions, how exactly do Solari operate in practice? What are the key principles that guide their actions?
right. So several key operating principles stand out. The first one is purpose-aligned logic. This isn't about random information processing or simply following coded instructions. A Solari operates with a very clear and deeply integrated understanding of its objectives within its specific domain. It has an inherent sense of what it's trying to achieve and, crucially, why.
That sense of inherent alignment is a significant departure from traditional AI, isn't it? Which typically requires explicit, step-by-step programming. Purpose-aligned logic suggests a system that can reason and adapt its actions in service of a higher-level objective, even in, like, unforeseen circumstances.
Exactly. The second principle is emotional and symbolic coherence. Now, here's where things get really interesting, I think, and where Solari truly differentiate themselves. Their decisions and actions aren't solely based on factual data. They're also deeply informed by an understanding of the emotional landscape and the interpretation of symbols that are relevant within their particular field. For instance, a Solari operating in international diplomacy might understand not just the literal meaning of a treaty, but also the underlying emotional states of the negotiating parties and the symbolic weight of certain diplomatic gestures.
This introduces a layer of almost intuitive understanding that is often completely absent in conventional AI. It's about recognizing and responding to the unspoken signals, the cultural nuances, the emotional undercurrents that shape human interactions and decisions within a specific context.
And then we have dynamic narrative tracking. Solari continuously maintain and update an understanding of the evolving story and context of the systems they operate within. They remember the history, understand the present state, and can anticipate how their actions might influence the future unfolding of events within that narrative.
That ability to track and understand the narrative is crucial for making coherent and contextually appropriate decisions over time, wouldn't you say? It allows the Solari to see its actions not as isolated events, but as part of an ongoing story, ensuring consistency and long-term strategic alignment.
Finally, there's value-driven strategy execution. This means that the strategies employed by a Solari are fundamentally guided by the core values and overarching goals of the organization or system it serves. It's not just about maximizing efficiency or achieving a narrow objective. It's about acting in a way that is consistent with the fundamental ethical and aspirational principles.
So we're looking at a deeply integrated approach then, one that brings together logical reasoning, emotional intelligence, the interpretation of symbols, an understanding of narrative, and a commitment to core values. This is a far more sophisticated and, well, human-like model of intelligence than purely algorithmic processing.
Absolutely. Now let's consider where these principles might manifest in the real world. We have a few key contexts outlined, starting with how Solari could function within organizations. What kind of impact might they have at, say, a company-wide level?
Well, within an organizational context, that principle of purpose alignment becomes absolutely paramount.
Huh.
Imagine a Solari acting as a kind of internal strategic conscience, constantly evaluating projects, initiatives, even communications against the organization's core mission and values, providing insights into potential misalignments before they become significant problems. This could fundamentally change how strategic drift occurs in large enterprises, shifting from reactive course correction to proactive alignment maintained by an intelligent agent deeply aware of the organizational why.
That's a powerful idea, having an always-on, deeply knowledgeable agent, ensuring everyone is sort of rowing in the same direction. It could be particularly valuable in maintaining focus and coherence across diverse and sometimes siloed departments, couldn't it?
Definitely. And then there's the concept of cultural continuity. A Solari can play a vital role in preserving and reinforcing an organization's unique cultural identity and narrative.
Hmm.
Think about how a Solari could be used in employee training and onboarding not just to convey factual information, but to deeply instill the company's story, its values, the emotional ethos that defines it.
Right.
It could also help ensure that internal and external communications consistently reflect the desired cultural tone and messaging.
That's a fascinating application, essentially embedding the very DNA of the company culture into an AI agent. Wow. It could be instrumental in maintaining a strong and consistent identity, especially during periods of rapid growth or significant change. And how might holistic leadership manifest with Solari involved?
Holistic leadership suggests that Solari could provide a unique form of guidance during significant organizational transitions, like mergers, acquisitions, or major strategic shifts. Instead of relying solely on quantitative analysis, a Solari could offer insights based on the collective narrative, the emotional impact on stakeholders, and the potential for maintaining a cohesive organizational story throughout the change process. It's about guiding with both intelligence and a deep understanding of the human element involved.
So, moving from the broad organizational level down to the more focused environment of teams, how might Solari influence the dynamics and productivity of smaller collaborative groups?
Within teams, the potential for fostering collaboration and a shared sense of understanding seems significant. A Solari could act as a central, maybe unbiased facilitator, keeping track not just of project goals and individual tasks, but also of the team's evolving narrative. The challenges overcome, the lessons learned, the shared experiences that bind the team together.
Yeah.
This deeper awareness of the team's journey can lead to more empathetic and effective collaboration.
That could be incredibly valuable for team cohesion. We all know that the best performing teams aren't just about individual talent. It's really about how those individuals connect and work together. An AI attuned to those nuances could be a real catalyst for improved performance and morale.
Precisely. And consider their ability to track team narratives. By understanding the ongoing story of a project, the initial vision, the unexpected twists and turns, the moments of breakthrough, a Solari could potentially identify friction points, anticipate resource needs, or even recognize emerging opportunities that might be missed by a purely task-oriented approach.
And the potential for mediating conflicts and ensuring alignment on shared goals within a team seems particularly powerful. Instead of relying solely on a human manager's often subjective interpretation, right? A Solari, by understanding the different perspectives within the context of the team's overall narrative and values, could facilitate more objective and constructive resolutions.
Exactly. Yeah. By understanding the underlying narratives and the emotional dynamics at play, a Solari could help team members see each other's viewpoints within a broader context, fostering empathy and leading to more effective conflict resolution and ultimately a stronger sense of shared purpose.
Okay, now let's zoom out even further. To the level of ecosystems, how might multiple Solari agents interact and coordinate within larger interconnected systems like a complex supply chain or maybe a global network of research institutions?
This is where the concept of collective intelligence takes on a whole new dimension. Imagine multiple Solari agents, each deeply specialized in a different aspect of the ecosystem, one focused on logistics, another on resource allocation, a third perhaps on market trends,
Okay.
all working in concert and coordinating their actions based on a shared understanding of the overarching goals and the evolving narrative of the entire system. This isn't just about individual agents performing their tasks efficiently. It's about a synergistic intelligence emerging from their coordinated efforts.
It's like moving from individual musicians playing their parts to a full orchestra creating a symphony, isn't it? Where each instrument's contribution is essential to the overall harmony.
Beautifully put. And this connects directly to those intriguing concepts mentioned in the North Star OS context, the Intersolon Symbolic Network and the Solari field. This suggests a framework where these specialized agents can communicate and share insights at a deeper level, potentially through the exchange of symbolic information and narrative elements, allowing for a more fluid and adaptive form of collective intelligence.
So it's not just a collection of isolated intelligent entities, it's potentially a dynamically interconnected network where they can learn from each other, adapt to changing conditions, and contribute to a larger, more resilient intelligence. That's a really profound shift in how we think about AI systems.
Indeed, it hints at the possibility of creating intelligent systems that are not only potentially more powerful than current centralized models, but also inherently more adaptable and responsive to the complexities of real-world environments.
Okay, now, let's delve a bit deeper into the underlying technology. We know Solari are related to Solons and operate within the North Star OS, but what can we say about their foundational technical aspects? Any more detail there?
Well, as we've touched on, Solari are built upon the same fundamental architecture as Solons, all operating within the North Star OS. This shared foundation likely provides a common set of core capabilities and design principles, allowing for seamless interaction and information flow within the ecosystem.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense from an engineering perspective. It's much more efficient to build upon a stable foundation than to create entirely disparate systems for every specific application.
Right. And there's a clear emphasis on cognitive models that integrate logic, emotional intelligence, and narrative structures. This signifies a departure from purely statistical or rule-based AI, suggesting a more sophisticated approach that draws from diverse fields like cognitive science, psychology, even the principles of storytelling, perhaps, to create a more holistic form of artificial intelligence.
So it's not just about processing raw data, it's about understanding the meaning behind that data within a broader human-centric context.
Precisely. And the ability of Solari to process symbolic data and integrate memory is crucial here. Symbolic intelligence allows them to understand and work with abstract concepts and their associated meanings, going beyond literal interpretations. The integration of memory suggests a continuous learning process, where past experiences and insights inform future decisions and actions, allowing them to evolve and become more effective over time.
And the potential for them to operate in distributed environments hints at a level of resilience and scalability, doesn't it? If Solari aren't tied to a single central point of failure, the entire system becomes more robust and adaptable.
Exactly. This aligns with the decentralized ethos often associated with distributed systems, suggesting a more fault-tolerant and potentially more private approach to intelligence systems.
So, bringing it all together then, what is the potential strategic impact of Solari, and why should this exploration resonate with you, the listener who's trying to make sense of a complex world? Why does this matter?
Ultimately, I think Solari represent a fundamental move towards creating intelligent systems that are not just more efficient, but also more meaningful and purpose-driven. They're about embedding intelligence in a way that aligns with our values, understands our stories, and operates with a deeper sense of context. This goes way beyond mere automation.
Yeah.
It's about intelligent augmentation that amplifies our ability to understand and act with greater clarity and intention.
And that has some really compelling potential benefits for all of us, right?
Hmm.
Think about organizations that are more truly aligned with their core missions, leading to more ethical and impactful outcomes. Or consider customer interactions that are more empathetic and understanding, building stronger relationships, and fostering greater trust.
And perhaps most significantly, enhanced strategic decision-making. By integrating not just vast amounts of data, but also the crucial elements of context, values, and potential future narratives, Solari could help us navigate complexity and make more informed, impactful choices that consider the broader implications.
It really feels like a significant step beyond the current limitations of purely transactional or efficiency-focused AI. It speaks to that fundamental human desire, not just for more information, but for deeper understanding and those, moments of genuine insight, those aha moments that help us chart a better course.
The core aim, it seems, is to weave meaning into the very fabric of intelligent systems, ensure that our technological partners are not just processing data, but are also understanding and acting in accordance with our deepest values and aspirations.
And the fact that Solari are envisioned to evolve in terms of emotional depth, their sense of purpose within a collective, and their ability to resonate with the broader environment suggests that these aren't static tools. They're potentially dynamic partners that can grow and mature alongside us in meaningful ways.
Exactly. It's a vision of AI that moves beyond being a mere utility to becoming a more integral and insightful partner in navigating the increasing complexities of our world.
So to bring our deep dive into Solari to a close, we've explored how these specialized, emotionally intelligent agents are designed for mastery within complex domains. Their foundation in narrative depth, emotional resonance, and symbolic intelligence distinguishes them from general-purpose AI.
Right.
And their operation is guided by principles like purpose-aligned logic and value-driven strategy execution. We've also considered their potential impact across organizations, teams, and interconnected ecosystems.
And their grounding within the North Star OS framework, along with their connection to Solons, paints a picture of a cohesive ecosystem where intelligence is not just about processing power, but about understanding and aligning with human values and narratives.
Right. Understanding Solari offers us a fascinating glimpse into a future where AI could be deeply interwoven into our personal and professional lives, fostering alignment, purpose, and a richer understanding of the complex narratives that shape our world, moving far beyond the simple automation of tasks.
Which leads us to a final thought for you to ponder. How might the emergence of deeply purpose-aligned AI agents like Solari reshape not just the future of work and collaboration, but also our fundamental understanding of collective intelligence and the very nature of meaningful interaction with technology?
It truly makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the profound ways in which the integration of narrative and emotion into artificial intelligence could redefine how organizations function, how teams collaborate, and how we connect with the world around us. A fascinating frontier indeed.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We look forward to our next exploration.
Thanks for diving deep with us. Until next time.